Hello everyone, welcome to day 18th of October LeetCode Challenge, and let's walk through today's question. Today's question is cousins in a binary tree. We are given a binary tree and two nodes of that binary tree, node with value x and node with value y. We need to return if these two nodes have a cousins relationship between them or not. If they have, we need to return true. If they don't have, then we need to return false in that case. How do we establish the cousin relationship? In a binary tree, LeetCode 993, it's an easy question on LeetCode, but the concept that you will learn through this question is of great importance. So I would urge you guys to watch this video till the end. I'll be solving this question using two approaches, and both these approaches are highly used and asked in interviews. So let's get started. The question itself gives the hint that we need to keep track of the parent, we need to keep track of the depth for any node, either x or y. Therefore, it's definite that we need to store or create two variables, one to store x immediate parent xp, the other one to store y's immediate parent yp. And initially, let's define both of them as null. So this is pretty simple and straightforward, that you created two variables and you initialize both of them to null. One signifies the immediate parent of x, the other signifies the immediate parent of y. Now we already are aware of two approaches, one the BFS approach, one the DFS approach. And in the first iteration, I'll be using the BFS approach. Why? Because all the nodes at the same level, why the BFS approach will be traversed simultaneously. For example, if 2 and 3 are to be traversed, since they belong to the same level, that means they have same depth, they will be traversed simultaneously in the queue. Similarly, 4 and 5 will be traversed at the same time in the queue. So you don't need to keep track of the depth. If both these nodes are getting operated at the same time in your queue, that simply means that they have the same depth. So what we are going to do, we will start the iteration. We will start with the typical BFS traversal, and let me just create a queue here. Let's hypothetically assume that x is given to us as 4 and y is given to us as 5. The first node that we will dump into the queue is 1, so 1 gets dumped, and this marks the completion of one level. Now 1 gets pulled out from the queue, so you remove 1 from the queue and you check its left child. Is left child of q non-null? It is non-null. Is it equal to x? It's not equal to x. Is it equal to y? It's not equal to y. So we will not set xp parent or yp parent anywhere. What we will simply do, we'll add 2 to the queue. Now let's visit its right child. Once right child is 3. So is 3 equal to x? It's not equal to x. Is 3 equal to y? It's not equal to y. We'll simply add 3 into our queue. And this is gone, 1 is gone. This marks the termination of second level. We'll repeat the same thing. We'll pull out 2 from the queue. 2 gets pulled out. 2's left child is null, we'll skip it. 2's right child is 4. And what do you see? You see that 4 is equal to x. What you're gonna do? You'll set xp to be equal to x parent to be equal to 2. We will store the identity of the current node to xp x parent, because we found in the right child of 2 we have 4. So we got the identity for xp. Now let's continue the process. And now 2 is gone. Then we'll pull out 3 from the queue. 3 gets pulled out, and what do? We will visit its left child. Its left child is null, we'll skip it. Its right child is 5. Is 5 equal to x? It's not equal to x. Is 5 equal to y? It's equal to y. What we will do? We will set y's parent to be equal to 3, as we have done for x parent. So y parents get set to 3. And you will dump 4 and 5 into the queue as the process of completing the BFS traversal, which is part of the algorithm. As soon as you have set these two variables to be equal to non-null, you check that since they have turned non-null, you will abort the process because both of them were visited in the iteration at the same time. That means the depth for x and y is same. The depth constraint is fulfilled. Now we need to check whether the parents are equal or not. In case the parents are equal, we'll return false. In case the parents are unequal, we'll return true. We are aware that both of them have been filled with non-null values, and both of them are unequal in nature. Since they are unequal in nature, we'll return true. Had there been the case where we had 5 here instead of 5 here, then yp would have been set to 2 itself, and in those cases, although non-null values would have been dumped for xp and yp, we would have returned false in those cases because those are not cousins, those are siblings, by virtue of xp turning out equal to yp. I hope you got the context. We will exactly do the same thing when we'll solve it in the coding section. Now let's talk about the other approach, the DFS approach, which is equally interesting. We are aware that we need to keep track of the parent, we need to keep track of the depth. So in the DFS operation, we'll create 4 global variables, one for xp, other for yp, for keeping track of x parent, for keeping track of y parent, and to track depth, we will create 2 variables, x depth and y depth. We will start the iteration. What all parameters should be part of the DFS function? Let's talk about those parameters. The first one being we need to keep track of the depth, the current depth that we have reached so far. So depth would definitely be one of the variables. The other variable would be we need to keep track of the parent of every node. So we need to keep track of parent, and apart from these two, we need to keep track whether the current node is equal to x or current node is equal to y. That means we need to pass x and y both, and definitely the root for the iteration across both its children. So in totality, we are passing 5 parameters: root, x, y, the current depth that we have reached so far, and the fourth one being the parent, so as to keep track and assign parental values to xp and yp. So let's assume the same case that x is given to us as 4 and y is given to us as 5. So we'll start the iteration in a DFS fashion. So we will keep on passing the parent and increment depth as we progress down the subtrees from a particular node, and we'll increment the depth by 1 with each iteration. And the value of depth for x would be stored at 2. The value of yd will be stored at 2 again, and xp and yp will be stored respectively to xp would be 2 and yp would be 3. So once we are done with the DFS iteration, we will compare if xd is equal to yd and xp is not equal to yp. If these two conditions are met, we will return the result and return true in those cases. Otherwise, we'll simply return false. So it would be more clear in the coding section. So let's move on to the coding part. I have written the code of basic BFS traversal that I usually write. I created a new queue. I created 2 variables, x parent and y parent. I added root into my queue. Till the time my queue is not empty, I extracted the size at a particular level in the queue. While size minus minus is greater than 0, I extracted the topmost element from the queue. If my head.left is not equal to null, I added it into the queue. If my head.right is not equal to null, I added it back into the queue. So this is a basic template that I always use for solving any BFS traversal question. And let's write the core part of is-cousins algorithm. If my head.left.val happens to be equal to x, then what I'm gonna do, then I'll set x parent to be equal to head.left. If my head.left.val happens to be equal to y, then I'll set y parent to be equal to head. So I hope these two conditions are clear to you. I'll do the similar thing here as well. And instead of left, I'll update it to right. if my head dot right dot val happens to be equal to x, I'll update x parents to head. If my head dot right dot val happens to be equal to y, I'll update y parent to be equal to head. So we have updated x parent and y parent as soon as we found a matching case with x or y. And once I'm done with setting these two up, I'll simply check here if x parent is not equal to null and y parent is not equal to null. If that is the case, I'll return x parent whether it's equal to y parent or not. If it's not equal to y parent, that means these two are cousins, otherwise these are not. Equality means not cousins, and non-equality means cousins. Once I'm done with this, there could be case that we filled in x parent but y parent is not filled in yet, and that simply signifies that there's discrepancy between depths. So we need to take care of those cases as well. If my x parent is equal to null, and my y parent is not equal to null, or the other case would be my x parent is not equal to null but my y parent was equal to null. In both these cases, we need to simply return false as the answer. The fourth case is simple, that both of them have not been set to null. We will continue the iteration so that we are able to set those up appropriately in the further levels. So let's try this up. I think I missed one closing bracket. Apologies for it. Oh, it's Q. Looks good. Let's just submit it. Awesome. This has passed, and now let's talk about the DFS method. Let me just comment this up. And let's talk about the DFS method now. I have initialized x depth to be equal to -1, y depth to be equal to -2, and I have created two variables, x parent and y parent. And I walked through the isCousin helper method. It accepts 5 parameters: the root, the current root of the tree, the value of x, the value of y, the current depth that we are presently at, and the parent of the root, which is null in the initial case. In the end, I simply check if x depth is equal to y depth. If that is the case, and my x parent is not equal to y parent, if this equation returns me true, the answer will be true, otherwise it will be false. The core concept lies in writing isCousin's helper method appropriately. And let's walk through that. The first case is pretty simple and straightforward. If root happens to be equal to null, I simply return and abort the process. Otherwise, I go and check if my root.val happens to be equal to x. Then I update x parent to be the parent that I have passed in the parameter of the helper method. I also set x depth to be equal to the value of depth that has been passed. Otherwise, I go and check it for if my root.val happens to be equal to y. I set y depth and y parent appropriately. And if none of these matches, then I invoke it on the right tree of the current node and the left tree of the current node, respectively. I increment the value of depth as we progress ahead in the subtrees. So let's try this up. Okay, sorry. It should be this. Awesome. It's better than the BFS approach in terms of time complexity, but somewhere I feel I could correlate to the BFS approach more easily. and intuitively. This brings me to the end of today's session. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for viewing it. Have a great day ahead and stay tuned for more updates from Coding Decoded. I'll see you tomorrow with another fresh question, but till then, goodbye.